Hello, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen. I am expressing myself in a song today. The opening video started at the end. I have to start it from the beginning. Here we go. Hello, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen. How are you feeling? Ask me. Oh, thank you so much for asking. I am amazing. I am back in South Africa. I still got a little bit of jet lag. I'm sure by now I will be sleeping more hours in the nighttime. But I know when you go into the future, you always have more jet lag than going into the past. So just remember, everyone, if you are flying into the future, you must just remember your jet lag is going to be a little bit different than going back in time. I've got my beautiful guest here, Nicole, Robin, Cindy, and my beautiful Wendy is here. I am truly excited. We're going to talk about self-expression or rather self-discovery. So what have you discovered of yourself that you are impressed with, that you can say, I like that, I love that of myself? And then just wait for it. What is the self-discovery that you thought, maybe I must work on that? I totally believe there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You have no defaults. You have no defaults. If there's something that you need to work on, it means you have to work on it. And I say everybody is born perfect. And you are perfect. But if there is some details of something in your life that you want to make better, or that you will feel better, then you have to take the action and do something about it. For me, my self-image, it was not bad, but it was really not good. And then my biggest dream was to be with my grandson Xander in New Zealand 5 years ago. And I made a plan. The 12th of May is my son's birthday, Sunday that's passed. And that is the day I started with my new lifestyle change. 5 years later. But I did something. I took the action. And I'm still doing the action because my Omi in Xander plan will always be part of my life. Always. Omi and Xander plan means exercise, eating, looking after me mentally, emotionally. All that incorporates in that one plan of mine. So, my beautiful ones, what is the things that you want to work on? And what is the things that you can say, I am so proud of myself. You are so good, Sanet. What is that? Just recognize that. And my beautiful viewers out there, gratitude. Gratitude is the cherry on the pudding or the cake or the tarts. I know the Americans love different tarts. So, what is your cherry on your cake? What is all your good attributes? Embrace them and say thank you. Thank you to you for all your beautifulness. So, I'm going to play my beautiful sponsors video, Jose. And then my girls is in the house. My girls is in the house. Here we go.
Is Jose Escobar. I live in Washington, D.C. area. I'm a family man. I'm an entrepreneur, coach, author, and speaker. I have communities. I support people. I'm a servant leader, and the list goes on. And I'm primarily the CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. That's my bread and butter. That's my core offer, right? That's where I put most of my time and energy. And the Connected Leaders Academy is a growing community. It's a tribe of some of the highest level entrepreneurs from all over the world. We're now over 350 plus members, 42 states across the US, and 17 international countries. If you're an entrepreneur out there that's looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more money, more clients, right? This is the community for you.
Hello, my beautiful girls. I am so happy to see you all. I
Good
see that I
morning.
feedback on somebody. So what I quickly want to do, just give me 1 second. I would ask you to all to mute yourself and then find out where that feedback is coming from. So please, my ladies, my beautiful my ladies, mute yourself. And then I'm going to quickly have a shout out to Michelle. Hello, Michelle. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much for being with us. It's so wonderful to see you. And my beautiful Nicola, I want to say you will be always part of my life and always be part of the Diamond Beauties. Thank you so much for being here, my girl. I love you. So let me start with how I'm seeing you on the screen, Nicole. If you can please introduce yourself and can you tell us what self-discovery means for you?
I sure will, Sanet. Thank you for having me on this program. I'm always excited when I get to connect with you. My name's Nicole Harvick, and I'm known as the forgiveness expert and quantum energy healer. And I have in the past, I'm going to say in the past 10 years, I have discovered a side of me that I never knew existed because I went through a really tough divorce and I became a person that when I look back, I don't even recognize. And when you're going through something like that, you really don't see it. You don't recognize it. You just kind of go through the motions every day. And I did everything on autopilot for so long, even with my girls. It saddens me today to look back on who I thought I was, what I thought I was supposed to do. And as I merged into single life, my girls lived with me. And sometimes you can only see things when you look back. And I didn't like that person that I looked back on. She was dull. She was boring. She was angry. She had so many issues. And I thought, that's not who I am. I want to be someone else. I want to be that person that I knew when I was in my 20s that was fearless, that was fun, that laughed, that, had all her friends around her and was the one that made them laugh. And that's when I embarked on my self-discovery. And it just had me, I just looked back at who I was, who I had become, and who I wanted to reemerge as. And that's really what started my journey, is understanding that who I thought I had to be was not even close to the person inside of me, the realness of who I really was, what I really wanted to do, and who I really needed to become, to be good with myself, to finally accept myself as I was, and to love myself like my girls loved me, like my parents loved me. And once I started moving in that direction. It was just utilizing forgiveness to forgive myself for the things that I didn't see at the time, or doing what I thought was the right thing to do at the time with the knowledge that I had. And that really led me on my journey of becoming. And I love that you have the butterfly behind you, because that's who I felt like. I felt so many times like I was just stuck in that cocoon and I was never going to get out. And when I was on my own, even though my girls did move in with me, it was like every day I was becoming. Every day I became this more and more fearless person who was who I was originally, but I had forgot her. I left her behind. And I just started, I'm just going to say it, and I don't mean this in an arrogant way, but I started blossoming. I started becoming, and I started understanding more and more who I was, what I wanted to do. And this led me down a journey of not only, you know, adventure with my girls, but of helping people to understand who they were, helping them to understand that in healing, there's a lot of people that have so much trauma in them. If we get that out and we remove that from us, all those dark energies, all those past hurts, all the pain, we can start refilling that with love and joy and happiness. And that's really what it was for me. And it made me understand that if I could do it at my age, I could start helping others realize that they too can become that fearless person and fall in love with yourself all over again.
I love it. So, ladies, here in the back studio, I just saw everybody became Wi-Fi became unstable, and I thought, oh my goodness, I'm just praying everything is going to work out as beautiful. And just as you finished, my beautiful Nicole, everything went gone, and we are all stable. So I'm so happy.
Yay.
You know, my beautiful Nicole, I love the word become, because all of us want to strive to be, but what if we just are? And then if there is a few changes to be made, become. I love that
Mhm.
word. So thank you so much for that. And tell us, where are you dialing in from?
I live in South Carolina now, and that was one of my goals. Was I had lived by the ocean as a young girl, and I wanted to kind of relive that really special part of my childhood. So I am in South Carolina, down in the Myrtle Beach area, and my favorite thing to do is meet with people, talk with them, and let them know I'm here to help if they need me.
Wow. Thank you so much. My beautiful Robin, can you please introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from, and then tell us what self discovery means for you.
Hello, Sanet and ladies. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here with you. I am coming to you from the sunny Salt Lake City in Utah today. I am a empowerment and transformation mentor and a Reiki master teacher, and my goal is to serve with joy. And finding that joy has been my journey over the last, oh my gosh, well, my whole life, but mainly the last 15 years as I've gone through a divorce and really found that transformation within myself. And that self discovery for me has taken me back to who I truly am at a soul level, not what I was taught to be or not what I was boxed in to be with religion and generational teachings. It's who I am as a soul and who I am to be here. And it's been interesting as I've kind of watched my life unfold again in this last year, going through a new transformation, that I am really going back to my roots, going back to playing with the elementals and playing with the crystals and connecting with people on a soul level, not again who I was taught to be around. It's those energies that pull us, that new discovery. I tell my clients, I says, you'll think I'm crazy, but at the end of our time together, you will look forward to those triggers. You will look forward to those, oh no, not agains, because they're an opportunity to self-discover again. They're an opportunity to go deeper, to understand yourself at a deeper layer. And our words are powerful, and we get to be very aware of our words. And I've noticed some of the words I've been using lately have called in certain situations in my life that I've not been really thrilled with, but allowed me to have some beautiful understandings and lessons about myself. And when we choose to step into those self-discovery moments, when we choose to unlock those generational patterns or those generational beliefs, there's so much love. There's for self. There's so much love for others. There's so much flow. There's so much passion. There's so much freedom in being our true selves. And especially coming from an area here in Utah that is very religious dominant. And a lot of us were raised in that religion. It's not that we're leaving it behind. It's that we have taken that structure, taking those things that work with us and using those to catapult us. I've shared the concept a few times where we've been raised in this box and we can only be in this box for so long. And it's not that we're moving and kicking the box away. It's that, okay, here's a solid foundation that we've learned from. Let's step out of that box, flip it over and stand on top of it and use that as a platform to keep going. And then we're going to learn more and more again of where we are, step out, flip it over. And we just keep raising and elevating ourselves as we continue our self-discovery. And then we get to share that with others. Like, I know most of us are healers and mentors and life coaches because of the beautiful things that we've been through. We get to personally experience that. We get to share that with others. And it's those core beliefs and those things that we know work that we can share with others. And so continue to look for those things to grow and change, and be excited when you're triggered, because that just means there gets to be more self-discovery and growth.
I love that. And one of the things that I love to do, if somebody triggered me or something that somebody said or do triggered me, I stand most of my days when I'm here in South Africa, because I've got one of those beautiful tables that can go up and down. But then I will step away and then I will go and touch my butterfly here at the back. You cannot see my hands, but touch my butterfly. And then I will wiggle my bum and then I will say to me, Sanet, is there something that you can do? Was this is that you can change the outcome or this person's perspective of you? Thank you so much. And then I went back and I go and touch my wings again, and I say, I don't think so. I will just send them love and happiness, because that trigger was meant for them and not for me. So that is so important, my beautiful ones. If you know the trigger that somebody have given you is not yours, don't take it on your shoulders. Just send them love, and that's all you can do. But I love that. I always also said, why do people say, think out of the box or get out of your box? Don't get out of the box. Step inside of the box and look at a different view. So I love that you said you flip the box and you get on your box, and your box is still the basics. So I love that. Thank you so much. So my beautiful Cindy, I am going to unmute you. Please tell us, introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and tell us what self-discovery means for you.
Well, hi everyone. I'm Cindy Eddington. I'm calling in today from Fairport, New York, and I'm a transformational life coach. I'm also a certified yoga therapist, a Reiki master teacher, an EFT practitioner, and a newly budding author. And that actually is going to tie into what I'm going to speak to everybody about too. So it seems to be divorce is the theme. That is my theme as well. I specialize in helping women navigate the aftermath of divorce and to help them rise from those challenges, if you will, with newfound strength, because I went through a heartbreaking one, as it sounds like some of my colleagues here did as well. And I think it's these heartbreaking, or I like to refer to them as heart-opening events, that can be the catalyst for self-discovery. And I know that's what it was for me. It was really a catalyst for me to change and take a look inside. And it wasn't all of a sudden I knew who I was, right? This has been a process. We're 3 decades now past my divorce, and there's still more that I'm learning every single day about myself. I think the the big transformation for me was I had a big aha moment when I took my first yoga class. And I came out of it kind of floating on air. It wasn't a really physical class, but I was floating on air, and I just had this epiphany of how much I had been seeking validation from external resources. And that to me was huge. And then it was like, oh, I really do need to like go inside. And it led me down a whole personal yoga journey to help me really understand more of like who I am, this being of, as we all are, these beings of beautiful love and light at our core. And taking that forward, because I was so locked in, and I love what Robin said earlier, locked into the whole generational messages that are handed down to us, right? It's like we're force fed these things, and then they end up becoming our belief system. And I didn't even realize that I had this hidden under, because they're sneaky, right? Our limiting beliefs are really underneath the surface. And so what I recognized is I had this limiting belief that I needed to be perfect in order to be loved. And that was such a huge, huge moment for me. And I realized that I was in this uber perfectionism mode. It was like, do more, be more, do more, be more. And I thought, oh, well, no, I'm just a high achiever. And so this is how so easily we can kind of like disguise, some of these things that we really need to actually take a deeper dive on and look at. And perfectionism was a huge one for me. And once I started diving into that, I really learned that, wow, I can just be me. And it still continues. Just being me means a lot of different things. I had another epiphany down the line where I recognized how much I tucked my feelings. I was a master at it. It was like, yeah, I grew up with the messages. It's like, what are you crying for? I'll give you something to cry about. So, you don't cry. Or it's like, women aren't allowed to express anger. And so all of these things that I kind of tucked away, and it was another, again, kind of epiphany moment for me, another catalyst moment where, I had this opening and realized that I had so much grief inside of me from all of it. And I literally, it was that at that point, I didn't even really know who I was, because there was just so much of the old stuff that was getting in the way. And that to me was a big eye opener. And so the big message, and this all happened when I was going through yoga therapy training, and one of the instructors was there for yoga for grief relief. And I literally crumpled, I don't know what he said, I can't remember the postures we were doing, but I crumpled on the floor, and I felt like he pierced my heart. And, I started just bawling uncontrollably. And he just sat next to me. I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, what a way to clear the room, first off. But secondly, I was like, I don't know what you just did, but I need more of that. So I ended up working with him for about 3 years. And his big message to me was, you need to feel your feelings. And it's okay to feel your feelings. And why? Because they're yours. And if they're yours, they're valid. And so these were the things that I learned for this big these catalytic moments, was just peeling back more of the onion, so to speak. And, I had to sit in sadness. I had to do a lot of crying for things that, I never really cried for before. And so to me, it was learning how to really express myself too and tell my truth. Because for years, I blocked. Everybody would say, I would go and have chakra readings. And if you're not familiar with that, it's energy centers within the body. And it would be like, oh, your throat center is kind of like blocked here. Well, because I didn't know what my truth was. I didn't know how to speak my truth. And so the more that I've, again, peeled back the layers, so to speak, and done more work, I realized that I really do need to, the more I can speak my truth, the more that I can own my truth, the more that I feel so whole and love myself even more fully. And yes, we mentioned the triggering. Sure, don't we all get triggered by something happens? But I think the more we can do our own discovery, we can learn again what those triggers are, and we can counteract them more quickly. And I have a bunch of tools that I use, but to come back in, because sure, there are still people that trigger me, and I'll like, and then I start to go into the should, shame, guilt cycle. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. And then I feel shame that I did it. And then I feel guilty. And I was like, no, I want to break that cycle. And I'll just, for me, I do a lot of EFT tapping, and I'll just literally tap on my heart and say out loud, okay, it happened. And I'm just going to give myself some love right now so I can work it through my nervous system, come back down into a grounded place, feel more centered. And then if it's somebody, again, somebody in my family, I'll just pick up the phone and say, just want to let you know I love you. That's it, done. And now I'm not hanging on to it. I'm not ruminating. I'm not staying in that should, shame, guilt cycle and just swirling in it. And I'm like, and I can move forward. I can love them for who they are in their energy. And I can just continue to love me for who I am in my energy. And so that to me is what this journey in terms of, how do you really, discover yourself? I think it comes back to when we have these moments, something happens that might be seem cataclysmic, heartbreaking, but if we can look at those as opportunities to open ourselves up and to really grow from them, that to me is that those are the treasures, right? Because those are the little treasure troves where all the gifts are for us to really come into our full selves.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much, my beautiful Cindy. And did you see I put glasses on because your feeling is important. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. So, my beautiful Wendy, please introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from. And I must just say, thank you for being here. You are amazing. And then tell us what self discovery means for you.
Thank you, Sanet, for that lovely introduction. And I just feel very blessed to be in this room with these three beautiful ladies, Nicole, Robin, and Cindy. Everything that you've said, I can relate to, and most of my clients can too as well. I live in New Zealand, and I'm a life and mind coach and emotional intimacy coach. So I actually help people embrace life's uncertainties and feel the fear and recover from trauma. And the reason why I went down that path is when I was 25, my firstborn daughter died at 5 months of age. And it left me feeling completely lost, not knowing how to go forward. And I carried that grief and that heaviness right up until about 3 years ago, where I decided, I can't, there was no energy in me. I couldn't feel any joy. And I thought something's got to change. And the only thing that can change is me, that the power is in me. And this is what I loved about what Nicole said as well, is that I have a favorite saying, and it's from Cole Young, and it says, I'm not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become. Because part of the struggle with me healing was that I was, oh, you're beautiful, was what I had been taught to be. Now, this is what happens when we grow up. We're taught to, who do you want to be? Who do you want to model? What career do you want? We are not taught how to be. So that when anything happens to us in our life, a tragedy, whether we lose our job, whether our marriage breaks up, we all of a sudden realize, who are we? Who are we? We don't know who we are, because we have been trained, and this is not about blaming our parents or blaming schools, but we have been good little robots, and we've been told what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And because all this molding happens when we're at such a very young, beautiful, molding age, we learn that for us to feel loved, for us to feel belonged, and for us to feel accepted, we will do what we have to do. And that means we will sacrifice whatever our needs are. So that could be, Cindy, you mentioned being a perfectionist. You know, your role was you had to be the perfectionist. And Robin, you said, again, I was also brought up in a very strict religious home, and we were raised, you weren't allowed to say no to adults. And so if you felt uncomfortable about something or you didn't think something was right, you were not allowed to challenge them. You were not allowed to challenge them, which has caused so much damage to so many people in this world. Why? Why has that happened? It's because you haven't got a voice, because you feel that your needs don't matter. And there's one thing that I want to share with you, and that is one thing that I learned when I went through my healing with the death of my daughter, is that I discovered that we are biologically wired to feel and act first before we think. And that happens right when we're a baby, and it happens when we're an adult. So if we don't feel, we are going against how we are biologically wired. So this is why so many of us are so screwed up, is because we are not being human beings. We are being human doings. That is, yeah, it is. So if you just think about this for a minute, what happens if you go and put your hand on a hot plate? You instantly pull away. Why? Because your brain is biologically wired to act or feel first. Because if you just put your hand on there and went, oh, that's hot, you'd burn your hand. Right? So we have to re-educate yourself, and this is what I have been doing in the last 3 years. I have been researching why we think the way we do, why we do what we do, and what actually happens to our brain when we have these patterns or these behaviours that we have learned since childhood. And it is about, again, we only know what we know. We only know what we know. And when I'm working with my clients and helping them see to stop the guilt, to stop the shame, and there's another process for that, because some of this guilt and shame goes right back. Usually, again, occurs from childhood, and where someone has taken advantage of them, usually a family member, because they never had the ability to say no, because they thought they were being naughty or disobedient. And then, if they thought they could tell somebody, they would be told they were lying. Who would believe me? Who would believe me? So there is so much suffering that we are carrying that if we do not attend to, we will pass that on to our children. Because if we cannot attend to our emotions, our needs, when our children come to us when they're little, we can't meet their emotions and their needs, because when we look at them, they're reflecting what we didn't get, and we don't. It's too painful. So we push them away because we don't know how to deal with it. We don't know how to deal with it because our parents didn't know how to deal with it. So most of us have parents that have come through the war. My parents had parents where they suffered terrible things, and because of that, my father's mother, unfortunately, she lost 2 children, and because they didn't have mental health or support back then, she was just put in this hospital where they doped her up and drugged her up, and so his older sister raised him. Now, he was emotionally retarded. So how could he give me what I needed when he didn't have it himself? So there's so much learning and healing to be done, but it's going right back and breaking down what happened to you. And one of my favourite books is from Dr. Bruce Perry, and he co-written with Oprah Winfrey. And if you read that, oh my goodness, everything that we do is a reflection of what happened to us when we were growing up. The love we got or the love we didn't get. And because of what I've discovered, and I have literally transformed. I've done so much healing, research on what happens to the brain, why we give our why we give ourselves over to be loved. One of the things I used to think and believe was that to be loved or to be lovable was to do. So I believed that I was the good little helper, and I would put my hand, sacrifice all my needs, because that means that I would be lovable. I never felt loved. I never felt loved. I thought that's what I had to do to get love. So it's huge. It is absolutely huge. So it's about retraining the mind. And my book, I've also just become a new author. My book is called Why Me? How to Regain Hope After the Death of a Child. But in there, it's part one is my story. Part two is about what we need to learn or know about what happens in our childhood so that we can work through tragedies, work through marriage failures, work through disruption in life, because it's what goes on up here that will give us the ability to get through it. And I have the 12 lessons in there about what happens to our nervous system, our brain, our mind, how we can be in the same room as somebody and we can all experience a different situation. Why does that happen? You will learn that in there. So it's when I learnt the information that I didn't even know was even out there, I thought, and the healing that it gave me, the self-confidence, I have to share it with the world, because it's transformative. It's transformative. And honestly, I hope this never happens again. I hope I never lose a child. However, I know that I will not have a breakdown like I did before, because of what I have learnt how to deal with life. So that's my message to everybody.
Thank you, my beautiful Wendy. And New Zealand, you know, is one of my favorite places to visit. I was there for twice already. And my beautiful daughter, son-in-law, and two amazing great grandsons, Zander and Zayden, is also in New Zealand. And soon to be a new grandmother. The new little one is coming in October. And then I will be going there to be there for the birth. So I'm truly excited. So my beautiful one, I know it's 6 o'clock. It was 6 o'clock in the morning when the show started. So we are quite on a different, Utah, I think, is in Mountain Standard Time, Robert. So Mountain Standard Time was, we started 11 o'clock, so it will 12 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, and it was on your side 6 o'clock in the morning. So how amazing. So I love what you said, my beautiful Wendy. There is so many things that we don't know that can help other people. But you know, I always say God and the angels had a way to present you with things that you need to learn at a certain time and stage. So I talked to somebody the other day, and she was complaining she cannot get her business moving, and she was comparing herself with somebody else. And I said to her, stop in the name of love. And her eyes went like this. I said, my girl, you are comparing your beginning steps to that person's end steps. You don't know that person went 8 years through this journey. You're only starting. So get off your high horse and stop in the name of love, and start with what you know and what you have inside of you. And that's why Sunday show was triggered, the hero inside me. So that was where the show from Sunday came along. So my beautiful ladies, I'm going to ask all of you, what is the 3 things that you are grateful for yourself that you can actually bestow on other people? So if I can give you my 3 things that I'm grateful for being able to love and see the most beautifulness in everyone. I am grateful that I can listen and can give a person the respect and love to complete their sentences. And my third thing that I am grateful for is for our amazing Diamond Beauties and Tanzanite Hero group, because I can live in my purpose every day. So, my beautiful Nicole, I just want to make sure you are unmuted. Can you give us your three things that you are grateful for that you can bestow on other people?
For me, the most important thing was self-love, learning to love myself, because I loved my children, my parents, even my dog, I tell people, but I didn't know self-love was a thing. So once I learned that, I have talked to my kids about it. I try to talk to my dad about it. But the minute you love yourself, you love in a different capacity. You can love a stranger that walks by on the street. So that is definitely one of mine. One of the things that I also have learned is to be grateful. Gratitude is such a huge part of my journey because, in looking back, I never practiced gratitude. And it's so interesting because at that time I had so much monetarily, not inside of me, but a husband who made really good money. And I felt very fortunate, but I didn't feel the gratitude like I feel now with just being alive and loving myself. And you talk about listening, and that's one of the things that I learned when I was on Clubhouse in 2020 when everything shut down. Is I learned to listen because I had to moderate. So I would always listen just so I could speak, to come back. But I listen to hear now. I listen to hear that other person's story. And when I really listen to hear a story, then I know what direction to go and how I can help them. So those were the three things that really enhanced my life tremendously.
I love that. Thank you, my beautiful Nicole, for sharing. And you, my beautiful Robin, you unmute.
This is an amazing question. Thank you. Two of them popped really easily for me. I'm hoping the third will come through as I talk. The first one for me is forgiveness. I think a lot of people feel like forgiveness is that we're condoning or we're saying that, what are my words? That we're condoning the behavior. We don't always condone the behavior. The forgiveness is for us. It's like giving someone the poison, but we're the ones that are actually taking it in. We get to forgive sometimes out of grace because they are doing the best they can with what they've got, with what they've been taught. We'll never be in that same journey with them. And so to be able to release that from ourselves, because if we carry that hate and anger, does that person even know that there's hate and anger for that person? They probably don't even care. So it's us that we're harming. And so to be able to teach that to others, to forgive because it's warranted, or to forgive out of grace because we deserve to be free. Forgiveness has been key and huge for me. Going into forgiveness, another good concept that I love is the concept of new perspectives, of being able to see things in a new light, in a new way. And I think Wendy just touched on this a little bit, where we can all be here having the same experience, but we're all going to take something different away because of our past experiences. And it really has nothing to do with anyone else but ourselves. And to be able to step up on that box and see things from a higher perspective or a newer perspective. It's interesting that I've been in the hockey realm here in Utah for the last 13 years, and hockey is what taught me new perspectives, because an incident can happen and the player, the coach, the official, the scorekeeper, and every parent in the stands is going to see something different, but it's each of their truths. So to be able to be open and see those perspectives, I've had a lot of people tell me it's like my blessing and my gift to be able to see all the perspectives, but not judge any of them. So having those new perspectives, especially with forgiveness. The other one that's coming up a little bit is that self-love, because as we let go of those perceptions, as we let go of holding on to those incidents or traumas or words that were sent to us in harm, we get to love ourselves more because we know down deep it is our truth. We get to stand in our own self-love, in our own abundance, in our own soul wisdom, and knowing what that truth is. Like you said, Sanet, when someone triggers you, you back up to your butterfly and you're like, is this mine or is this not mine? But it's also an opportunity for us to learn and grow, whether it is to let go or to take in and shift that. So forgiveness, new perspectives, and self-love.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And you, my beautiful Cindy, you are unmuted.
Okay. Wow. So I could go on all of those. I'll pull them all in terms of having gratitude for everything everybody said. For me, support as well. Just having the support systems in place, the encouragement to keep stepping into my light, to keep moving forward and shine my light. Because I think when you first start, it's really easy to like go back into the old patterns, right? Go back into everything that we've been told. And so just having that encouragement, and I'm so grateful for, I have another husband now who's been so incredibly supportive of everything that I'm doing. This community, Sanet, in your community, just this whole community of being able to not only, as givers, a lot of us are givers, right? That's our natural state. And giving to others, I'm so grateful to be able to give to others, but I'm so grateful too to be able to receive, because I think that that's so important, is that it's great to give to others our knowledge and bestow that upon them, because each one of us has had a really interesting and unique journey unto our own, and the lessons that we've learned from that, but also to, again, be able to receive. And I think that that's really important in terms of loving ourselves as well, is not only giving, but the ability to receive and accept and say yes and take that in. And so I'm really, truly grateful for that. What else? Everything, every little thing that's happened along the way. I'm so grateful for my entire journey. There's so many lessons that we're learned. And every time you kind of like even go back and look at it, as you were saying, Robin, there's a new perspective. You can see it in a different light, right? So every time we revisit it, or every time you work with somebody new, they have maybe the same theme, but their perspective is just a little bit different. And boy, can you not receive and take another nugget back for yourself. So I think those are the things that I'm really grateful for, and forgiveness, obviously. Like I said, self-love, forgiveness, gratitude, bring them all in. These are all the cornerstone, I think, practices that any one of us that have been through some kind of event has learned, that these are the tools, if you will, that help us to unfold, to come out of the cocoon, to become the beautiful butterflies and shine our beautiful selves for the world to see, and to share what we know with others that need to actually start to emerge out of their own cocoons.
I love that. Thank you so much, my beautiful Cindy. So, my beautiful Wendy, you have 3 minutes. I'm so sorry to put you in a spot, because I quickly want to do our golden nuggets as well. So, if you can tell us the 3 things that you are grateful for, my beautiful
Absolutely.
one.
Absolutely. So it would be gratitude, forgiveness, and mindfulness. And gratitude means focusing on the things that you do have, the people that you do have in your life, than the things you don't have. Even our hands. What would we have done this morning if we did not have hands? What if we didn't have running water? What if I didn't have you guys? So focus on what we have, not what we don't have. Forgiveness, letting go of the past. Is some people were not even aware that they were hurting us. And again, what Robin said, it's not condoning the behaviour. It's actually going, what happened to me, but I'm letting it go. It's not going to ruin and control the rest of my life. Mindfulness is meaning you don't look behind, you don't look at the future to say, I will be happy when. It is, today is the moment. The moment we have right now is now. We live now. Tomorrow is not guaranteed.
I love it. And my favorite saying is, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. And then I add on, and that's why it's called the present. And then I add on, How are you going to pull your bow on your present and have an amazing day? So, my beautiful ones, we've got 2 minutes and I've unmuted everyone. So, there is a bit of a back noise and it's all good. It's all good. So, Nicole, please give us your golden nugget.
Forgiveness is not an attribute of the weak. Forgiveness is for the strong, and that is by Gandhi.
I love it. I love it. Robin, what is your golden nugget?
In every experience, there lies wisdom, whether positive or negative. Each moment offers lessons for learning and growth.
I love it. Cindy, and yours?
Just remember, when one door closes, just have trust and have faith that there's another one waiting for you to walk through into a bigger and brighter future.
And yours, Wendy?
Yeah, it was what I really just touched on. Stop looking at the past, stop looking at the future. Today, this moment is all you have. Tomorrow is not guaranteed.
I love it. My beautiful viewers and my beautiful diamond beauties and Tanzanite heroes. As you know, we cannot come live. Let me just quickly, ladies, just mute yourself quickly again. As you know, we Facebook doesn't allow us to come live into the groups anymore. So you can only see the episode on E360 channel or on my YouTube channel. I wanted to ask you, what is the lessons that you've learned out of today? I am going to post it in our two groups and then I want you to feedback. And what is the things that you are grateful for today? Because today you have heard something from someone that you didn't know. And then if you can take that something that you didn't know and bring it into your life, and you can think, how can I put it in my life or change my life a little bit better for tomorrow? Then come and tell us, because I always believe you will hear the right things at the right time when you have to move. And I don't mean move, I mean change. Change is help me, Robin, edible, not edible, Robin, help. Change is in Change is happening.
Inevitable.
Thank you so much.
Inevitable.
Because it sounds like I'm going to eat something now. I'm trying. I'm trying. But change is there. But is there something that this beautiful Nicole, beautiful Robin, beautiful Cindy, and Wendy have said that have triggered you? Then investigate. That is part of self-discovery. Because if it triggered you, then it means you had to open and hear it. Otherwise, you would not have heard it. So, my beautiful viewers out there, I have to ask my guest first. Will you wait for me? I have to ask them. My beautiful Nicole, my beautiful Robin, beautiful Cindy, and beautiful Wendy, will you have a dance with me? Nicole, okay, yes! My beautiful diamond beauties and Tanzanite heroes and all E360 viewers, will you have a dance with us? They said yes, they said yes. Unmute yourself, ladies. Here we go. Are you dancing, my beautiful viewers?
Walking on sunshine or dancing in the rain. Sprinkle me with fairy dust so I can fly away. Smiling at a moonbeam or squinting in the sun. Sprinkle me with fairy dust and cover me with love.
Bye bye, everyone.
Sprinkle
My
me
goodness,
with